So yesterday I was going through our YouTube, our Warrior Hour like recorded episodes, and I was actually just like browsing through like the topics, and I was like, oh my gosh, this seems like so long ago. Like I went back, or I was like looking at like episode 1 through 5, you know, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I was just like, I remember when we talked about this. Oh, and I remember when we talked about this. Like it felt like forever ago in my mind. It really wasn't, you know, it was only like 2 months ago, but it feels like forever ago. And it was really cool to even just look back on all the stuff we've talked about. Like just being like, wow, we've talked about momentum, we talked about goals, and we talked about dreams, and oh look, this is when we made our dream list and things like that. And it was crazy to go back and realize all the work we've done, right? Like I think sometimes you guys maybe need to recognize that too. Like we just get so down on ourselves and beat ourselves up so quickly when we're in the moment, like, right? Like we lashed out at our kid and so we're beating ourselves up, but little did you realize you've been in quarantine for the past 3 months. Like that's gonna happen. You need to recognize and appreciate, wow, we're going through a time that nobody has ever dealt with. And we're still alive, we're still surviving, we're still healthy. Like my kids are still smiling more than they're crying, you know. I'm just gonna chalk it up as a good one. And I need to recognize what we've done, okay? So when I was like looking back through the Warrior Hours, it was just kind of cool to recognize that we're on episode 46, 47, you know, like that's insane. That's so much work that we've been doing. And so I just want you guys to remember to take a step back every once in a while and just recognize all the hard work you're doing, okay? And be like, dang, I'm crushing it. Like straight up crushing it, okay? Because you are. If you're still here, you know, and you've been doing this for almost 3 months, you're freaking crushing it. Even if you don't make it to every episode, it's totally fine. It's not what it's about. Okay? So give yourself a pat on the back, and let's hear what Rachel Hollis has to say pre-quarantine about top motivation hacks. Okay?
A medal and a banana. I post this thing in the Goal Getters community, and I ask everyone to tell me how they feel about motivation, where they struggle with motivation, and I'm reading all of these notes. And you guys tell me if this is something that you feel like. And specifically, we're talking about motivation and mindset as it pertains to our health, okay? So here's some of the things that I hear. I'm asking you guys, and I'm gonna ask you at home. If this is you, I want you to be like, gosh, yes, I do have that. I heard things like, I start doing so well, I start eating right, or I start going to the gym, something happens, I fall off the wagon, and I feel like, screw it, I'm done. I fall completely off. Does that ever happen to anyone here, right? Okay. The other thing that I hear is, I can't even talk myself into starting. I don't even know how to motivate myself because I have this loop in my head telling me this is just the way it is. Right? People talking about perfectionism, feeling like they have to do it perfectly or they don't even want to try, and so they're not motivated to attempt anything new because they know that they'll suck at it. Anyone here? Resonate? Okay. So we all are dealing with a lot of the same stuff. And what I was tripping out about when I was reading through these is literally, if I was coaching you guys one-on-one, I would give every single one of you the same tool. This, like, I went into Dave's office, you could ask him, I was tripping out. I was like, they all are talking about different things and the answer is the same. It's the same answer for everyone. I sound like a little bit like I'm gonna ask you guys to join a cult because I'm so excited about this. And no, it's not something I'm gonna sell you. It's a flip in your perception about what it means to be motivated. So we're gonna change that today. But before we get into what is this magical answer, we've gotta talk about 2 kinds of motivation because I wanna make sure I got this. These are the 2 kinds that I saw today. People were saying they struggled to get motivated to start something. Anyone ever struggle to get motivated to start? Yep. The other thing was they struggle to stay motivated to keep going when they're not seeing the results that they want to see. So those are the 2 kinds of motivation that our community was struggling with most, was how do I start and how do I keep going when I'm not seeing results? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Let me give you the headline. Let me give you the answer. And this is going to sound too simple and you're going to be like, no, it is the answer. The answer to every single one of you who are struggling with feeling motivated in any area of your life is a habit. It is a habit. So let's break this down, because I know you're like, Rachel, you've talked about habits like 4 times this year. Yeah, there's a reason that I keep talking about this is the same thing. Okay, here is the definition of motivation. The general desire or willingness of someone to do something. Let me say it again. The desire or willingness of someone to do something. The key word in this is desire. Desire. So when people come to me and they say, Rachel, how do you get motivated to work out? Rachel, how do you get motivated to eat healthy? Rachel, how do you get motivated to work on your business? How do you stay motivated to keep your head down in the business and try and make it grow into something when you're not seeing? What you're asking me is, Rachel, how can I like to do the thing I don't currently like to do? The desire, like, oh, I want the desire to want to go to the gym. I want the desire to want to eat the kale. Hear me now. There are thousands upon thousands of companies who are trying to sell you the idea that they can give you the desire to do the thing you don't want to do. And I'm here to tell you, I can't give you the desire to eat the kale. What I can give you is a love and appreciation for the results when you eat the kale. Does that resonate? Like, I can't tell you, take this magic pill sorry, my accent comes out when I get fired up. Take this pill, and then all of a sudden you'll be a fitness guru. Eat this thing, drink this shake, and all of a sudden you'll be super excited about health and fitness. I don't know about you, but that is not how it works for me. What works for me is that I do something enough that I fall in love with the results. But I actually have to see results in order for me to fall in love with them. Does that resonate, guys? So the question is not, how do I make it? How do you make it so that you suddenly love all of this stuff you don't really love? The question is, how can I get you to the place where you love the result of it? We were just talking before we started, one of the gals on my staff, I'm like, oh, do you like to run? She's like, oh, no, I do not like to run. I used to hate to run. I was the absolute queen of like, I'm not a runner, that's not for me, I'm not interested in that thing. And then Dave, jerk that he is, signed up for a half marathon when I was 8 months pregnant, okay? I want you to just imagine for a minute your pal Rach, okay? I'm pregnant with my, I don't know, one of my 1,000 children. I can't remember which one, but it wasn't the first, which means, you know what that means. It means I gained more weight is what it means. And I don't, I can't grow up. I just grow out. He's 6'4", I'm 5'2", we make giant babies. I'm in beast mode. And I don't mean like beast workout mode. I mean like I look like a beast. I'm super uncomfortable. I'm eating all the chicken strips. I'm in literally the worst shape of my life. And you guys would say, oh no, you're like growing a human, that, don't be me. No. I mean, I was growing a human, but I was also just absolutely not taking care of my body. Eating garbage, drinking garbage, like soda, not alcohol. I was very pregnant. But I was not taking care of my body. I'm in horrible health. And someone at his job challenged him to run a half marathon. And so he's like, all right, I'll run a half marathon. There's Rach over there waddling down the road, and here's Dave getting in incredible shape, challenging himself. And I'm not a runner, right? This is a story I keep telling myself, because we all have these stories that we cling to. We're like, I'm not this, I'm not wired that way. But you know what I am? Competitive. I'm not even with anybody else. I'm a little competitive with my husband. Anyone competitive with their partner? Yeah. I'm like, oh, is that what we do now? We run races now? So I'm like, you just wait. You wait. I'm pushing this baby out my body. It was the second baby, so he flew right out with a sneeze. Pushing this baby out, and then I'm coming back around, and I'm training for a race. And like most of you, anyone here a runner? Anyone in the room a runner? So most of us, when we decide to run a race, we start very small. If you're wise, you build up. Let me say it again. If you're wise, you build up, and that means in any area of your health. So when I decided to run a half marathon, the first thing I did was sign up for a 5K. I'm gonna sign up for a 5K, that's 3 miles. Now, if you're a marathon runner, you're like, I walked that from my car, you know, like no big deal. But if you can't even run a mile, if you can't even run a quarter mile, a 5K feels like the hardest, like you're dying, 30 seconds in, you're dying. But you figure it out and you try, and I hated it. Listen to me, I hated it. The entire training, it's miserable, the bleh, barf, terrible. But I'm like, he did it and I want to do it. And then I ran the 5K and I finished.
Bear with me, ladies.
Finished the 5K. And even in a 5K, they give you a special medal, right? I'm sweaty, I'm gross, and I got a medal and a banana. And I was so proud of myself. I was not an athletic kid. I was always awkward. I was the president of the drama club, just to give you an idea of how cool I played like 8th chair clarinet. That was the level I was bringing it at in high school, okay, you guys? Like real cool. I was not athletic, and it was the first time in my life that I felt proud of something I could do physically with my body. I fell in love with the result. I didn't like the run. I fell in love with the result. Now I did 5K, now I'm gonna do a 10K. And now I'm gonna do a half. And every single time you run a race, you feel so proud of yourself and people are cheering for you and there's posters and you get to take a picture at the end and put it on your Facebook page and you're like, see, mean girls in 7th grade, look at me now, running my half marathon. You're welcome, everybody. I felt so proud and so excited. And somewhere along the way, I fell in love with the action required to get to that result. It starts with the result, and then you're so used to reaching that result and how fun it is to get there that you fall in love with the process of getting to that place. So I do not know how to motivate you to want to do the thing you don't know how to do, but I do know how to get you to create habits that are so regular in your life. They are so part of your life and so ingrained in every single day that you do not question whether or not you're gonna go to the gym. You do not question whether or not you're gonna eat the chicken. You do not question whether or not you're gonna drink the water. You just go. I hope that this was a helpful video, or maybe at least entertaining. If there's anything that you want to...
At least entertaining. That was funny. That was a good one. Too funny. I know, right? I thought, Tessa, I think that's so funny that like just randomly picked a video and she's like talking about running a 5K. I was like, oh, it's so perfect. I needed that. All right, so let's see what I wrote down here and let's see how we could talk it and use it for our very own motivation, right? Like, okay, so I don't know about you guys, but I'm still in this 5K training that we are in, and I'm working towards running a 5K. And it's also kind of interesting because I myself have started falling in love with actually the process of running. It's not my like go-to thing, but I have noticed that since we started 5K training, I have wanted to run more than I've wanted to press play, which is weird for me because I'm usually like, I'm my like home living room gym junkie. Like I love working out at home. I love being in my living room. Like I don't like going anywhere. I just like doing it right here. And so, I'm actually really enjoying running more than I'm enjoying pressing play. Like I kind of am always like, I kind of rather go on a run than work out right now, like here. So I think that's kind of cool to just hear her talk about like falling in love with the process. Because I think that there is always that point where it flips. Like there's that point where you're fighting for it, and you're dreading it, and it's struggle, and then you maybe cry, or you have like a breakdown, you know, of like, I'm just like not getting anywhere with this running, like, da, da, da. But then there's like that moment, it flips to the other side, and you go, oh look, I just ran my 2 miles, and I'm not dying. Oh look, I can, like for me, like, okay, oh look, I could do my live video and I'm actually still smiling after my run rather than wanting to cry on my live video. And I was like, oh, I'm acknowledging that that flip, like almost like I was going and I'm like going up a hill and I just got over the crest of it, and now I can actually feel myself coming to the other side. But you guys, had I stopped when I wanted to in my brain, I would have never gotten here. I would have never quite gotten to that, hey, I'm going to go do the 2.5 miles. I'm excited to run it today, you know? So there's always also going to be like, I think of it as like a giant hill. Like, you know, you're going up the hill and it's going to suck. And then there's always that point where you're kind of like, huh, I don't dread it so much. I don't hate it so much. Oh, I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. Or, oh, let's see if I can beat my time. You know, things like that will start to set in. You'll kind of start to hear that little voice that, like she said, that competitive voice. I don't know if you guys are competitive either. I'm a very competitive person. But like, I love it. Like, it fuels me. Even just like on the team, like if I ever see like girls getting like higher success club points to me, I'm like, oh, I need to get my crap together. Like, I just love that kind of competitive nature. I use it to like fuel me and to like fuel my business. And of course it works out perfect because we're always working out. You know, so it's like I can be competitive with myself. Like, I remember, if you guys have ever done T20, that's a perfect program. If you think you're not competitive with yourself, do T20, because you will become competitive with yourself, because they have these like 1 minute little challenges, or are they 1 minute or 100 seconds in Morning Meltdown 100. T20, I believe it's a minute challenge. He does like 3 separate minute challenges in the 20 minutes. And then you write down how many, you know, taps you got. And then the next week you do the same ones and you try to kind of beat your original time. And man, I remember being so competitive with myself when we first did T20. I was just like, I am going to beat, like those Rocket Mans where you're just like jumping and like throwing your hands in the air. I was like, go, go, go. Like, how can I make my body go faster? Because I knew I had 60 last time and I wanted to do 70 this time. And it was like, I just felt that competitiveness set in with myself, you know? And so I love that we watched this video, because first of all, we're all here based off of health and working out and things like that. And so I love that Rachel talks a lot about health, because I feel like, to me, she's like a Beachbody coach. Does anybody else feel like that? Like, I'm like, man, why don't you come be on my team? You'd be great. You know? Like, I just think that she's like she really helps a lot of Beachbody coaches understand that like your business will be successful when you are all in on your health. Like, her business is successful because she's all in on her health. Okay? Because she takes care of herself. Her mind is right. Her body is right. Her health, like her home, you know, life is right. Like, I mean, you know, we don't know what's going on right now, but in a sense, you know, she does the work over here with her health, and that in effect helps line her business up. Okay? And so you have to remember that for yourself too. Like, whether you're a Beachbody coach or not, like maybe you're a hairstylist and you love doing hair. Well, the best way to be the best hairstylist is getting your health on track, right? Like, if your health, or say I know we have like some teachers, so like you guys are pouring into all these kids all the time, but yet if you would pour into yourself a little bit with your health, that would actually make you a better teacher, right? Like, anybody else feel like when they're out working out and in their challenge and kind of hitting everything correctly, I'm a better mom, I'm a better wife, because I've helped myself over here. I've focused on my health over here, and it in effect will line up other things in your life too. So I love that she always focuses on health, and that it's a baseline, right? Like, your health is the base of your life. Okay? So always remember that. It's like, for me, it's like a no-brainer, because I'm a Beachbody coach, that I would need to work out, or that I would need to keep my nutrition on track. And of course, yes, like in a sense, because it's my job, I do it. But you guys, it's for myself. Like, it's for me. right? Like it happens to be my job too, which is a bonus, but I got healthy for me originally, or for my family originally. Okay, so I could be a better mom. So I could be, originally, I just wanted to be able to go and massage people and come home and not be completely drained. So I knew that I needed to get in shape. I knew that I needed to eat differently. So that way, when I went home or was, giving massages, I wasn't sucking every last energy out of me for that. Then I fell in love with being healthy. I fell in love with Beachbody, and I ended up making the transition from massage to full Beachbody coach. But so it's a little bit easier for me to focus on my health because that's my job. And honestly, you guys, if you're like, man, I need to really focus on my health more, make it your job. That's what I just figured. I was like, you know what? What's one way I could stick to this forever? And my thought was, well, then I'm going to have to do this forever. I'm going to have people looking at me. I'm going to have accountability. I'm going to have support. What if I built a whole community? Then I can't leave them, right? So at this point, what holds me accountable is you guys. That's what creates my motivation. You guys create my inspiration. It's you guys. Because I've surrounded myself with like-minded women, and I've placed you guys all around me. So I have no choice but to continue going. And I think sometimes that accountability is what more of us need, right? Because when you choose to not do something for yourself, you're like, I'll be fine, right? But when I choose to not do something, like be healthy or eat healthy or run a challenge, that affects all of you guys. And I refuse to have that guilt on my body, okay? So for me, I show up every day because I know that I have you guys. And I know that when I'm helping you guys and keeping you guys on track, what's going to happen? It's going to keep me on track, right? So I love that she was talking about, so let me back up here. So she was like, there's two kinds of motivation, I think, starting and staying. So starting, my initial reason was, I was 18 months postpartum. I couldn't get to a gym, and I just wanted to work out some. I just wanted to become healthy. I needed more energy. That's exactly what I told my coach. I need more energy. That's what I told her. And so I was like, whatever I need to buy or drink so I can just have more energy, that'd be great. Most of you guys know this, but some of you guys might not. I didn't even know that I was purchasing a workout program when I purchased. Didn't even know it. I knew I was purchasing Shakeology, and she was like, oh, why don't you get this kit and da-da-da. And she was like, and if you're going to want to continue buying Shakeology, why don't you just sign up as a coach? I'm like, yeah, whatever. Whatever I have to do to have more energy, I'll just purchase it. I was like, I don't care what it is. I was like, if I have to drink this thing, yeah, sure. And so when I got my whole package, I was like, what is all this stuff? What are these containers? What is this meal guide? And she's like, okay, it came with a 21-day program. She's like, I want you to work through it. And I was like, wait, I have to work out? What? I was like, I just wanted to drink this thing and get my energy back, right? That was my initial thought was it was very surface. My thought was that I could just drink this energy drink, which was actually Shakeology. It was actually a shake, protein shake, but I thought I could just drink this thing and my whole life would just be different. I didn't know about personal development. I didn't know I was getting workouts. I didn't know about nutrition or portion control. That stuff just came with my package, and I was like, what is this, And so originally I started because I wanted more energy. I was just 18 months postpartum, and I was just exhausted. So I started because I needed more energy, okay? But I stayed because of the results. I stayed because of the results, because I did that 21-day fix challenge. And I was like, holy crap. I remember I made my take photos on the first day, and then I made my take photos on day 21. And I literally was like, can you tell a difference? And I put the photos side by side, and Mike and I were like, holy crap, yeah, I can tell a difference. I didn't even know what was happening through that 3 weeks. until I put my photos side by side. And I went, oh my God, yeah, I really can't. And I remember just sitting there, like zooming in at my stomach on like both photos and like analyzing my side by side. And I was like, oh my God, look, I have like abs. Like it didn't even occur to me that that was happening through that 3 weeks, because I was just doing the program and I was just excited to have the shakes. But I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing these like workout things too. But the results are what kept me here originally. Okay, so first I started because I just needed more energy. The results are what kept me here. But then there was a point too, you guys, where I was like, now what? You know, okay, I got these results. Okay, cool, I'm just gonna keep working out. Okay, cool, I'll keep drinking this. Now what? You know, and I was like, what else can keep me here? What else can make me want this more? And my thought was, well, I mean, maybe I can help my mom lose some weight. Maybe I can help Mike lose some weight. Ooh, my friend Lisa used to drink Shakeology. Maybe I can have her join me and we can like work out together and do a 21-day challenge together. It started as simple as that. Like seriously, just as simple as that. I was just like, maybe I could set my mom up. Maybe she could start drinking these too. They are really good. I think she'd like them. Like it started just like that, but I created this little tiny group, okay, of my people, my friends, my family, my sister, my mom, you know, and I was just like, hey, like, let's just start right here. And that created accountability. So I think this is one thing that she's missing in this part, is that there's a reason why you start and there's a reason why you stay, but then there's a moment where you need more, okay, I think that there is a moment that you need more, and that's accountability. Okay, so I think first you start because you want your own results, right? Like I needed my own energy back, or maybe I needed to lose the little extra baby weight that I had from Derek Tone Untied Up. So then I got the results, and I was like, oh, that felt pretty good. Ooh, I got a little bit of muscle. I could feel my abs coming back. You know, I feel my energy lifting, and that felt good. And then there was a moment where I was like, okay, now what? I've got my energy back. I've got my results. Now what? And so I think that's where support, accountability, and community come in. Support, accountability, and community to continue a long-term, lifelong health. Okay, to continue a lifelong journey of health, you need support, community, and accountability. Okay, because the reason why I keep coming back is because I love working with you girls. I love going through challenges with you girls. I love listening to videos with you guys. I know I have you guys looking at me saying, Jen, what's next? Jen, what are we doing next? What's coming out next? What else can we do? Right? Like that keeps me long lasting. That's how I'm still here on year 5 of coaching. So I put in 4 years. This is my 5th year of coaching. I'm doing my 5th year right now. That's what's kept me here for 5 years. Okay? Because of you guys. Because I knew, right? I was here for a reason for myself. Once I got there, then I was like, okay, cool. How do I keep these results? And to me, I kept my results by helping other people continue getting results. Okay? So there might be a point in your journey, and depending where you're at, this can all kind of change, right? So maybe you're still in the beginning. Maybe you just joined and you're like, I'm still trying to get my own results. That's fine. Be in that. Be in it, right? Like get your results. And then there's going to be a moment where you're like, wow, I feel pretty good. I'm getting results. I'm feeling like I'm on track. I'm on the right path. That's when you need an accountability partner to keep that part going, okay? Because it can fall to the wayside so easily as soon as life gets a little messy, right? Even if you had those results, there's a moment where you could easily fall off, right? Like, how many people do you know, they're like, oh, 2 years ago I was in the best shape of my life, but now I'm back to where I was. To me, you didn't have the support, accountability, and community to continue keeping you on track. Okay. So like, I think it's like the underlining key. You have to have it. You have to have that support, community, and accountability to continue those results, right? Like, so especially some of you girls that have been with me for like, several years, there's always a time, like even right now, we're waiting for MBF to come out and we're just like, like waiting, because we all want a new program to come out. We're excited to try it. We're excited for the next thing. And we're all kind of like just waiting, right? And so this is where results could start to fall to the wayside, right? This is where you could be like, well, I'm kind of bored with what I've been doing. I've been doing the same thing for the last couple of months. Yeah, I got these great results, but I'm just not feeling motivated to continue going, right? And so you're like, things start to slip up. You miss that workout day. You eat the pizza instead of grabbing for the salad, and you start to spiral in this wrong direction. But the moment that program launches in July, boom, we're right back on track, right? Because the group's going to be doing it. The accountability is going to be there. That the results are going to come out of that group. So you're going to be like, well, I don't want to not be part of it, right? Because when you have that community and they're all doing it and you're like, wait, I want to be part of this too. I'm in here too. And you get picked right back up. Okay. So that's why I think like literally the power of the community is so important. So I'm adding that into her little speech there. Okay. So yes, starting, you have to find your own motivation. Okay. You have to find like, I want to do this for me, or I want to do this to be a better mom for Derek, or I want to do this because I need my, I need to prove to my husband that I can beat him or something like that. Like there's always that initial reason. It's probably going to have to do with your own selfish wants, right? Like let's not selfish, not even in a bad way. Like it's typically going to be about me, right? Like I want results because I want to lose weight. I want results because I want to look like I did before I had a baby. It's going to usually be about you. That initial motivation is going to be something you want. Okay. Staying in it, you're going to get those results. That's going to help you kind of stay in it, right? Like, ooh, my butt's getting a little lifted. Ooh, I'm getting a little bit of a bicep. Heck yes. You're going to start to feel that motivation start building when you start getting those results, or even in running. Oh, wow, I did 2 miles and I'm not dying. Cool. That's results for me. That's going to help me continue going. But then what happens when the 5K training is over? You kind of go, oh, right? But what if after the 5K training was over, we just extended it to a 10K? Because the group decides to continue going. The community and accountability continues. See where that support and the community and the accountability of the group fits right there in that last spot. That's what's going to keep you going, right? Or becoming a coach and signing people up and people looking at me and saying, okay, Jen, what's next? We finished our 5K, now what? Right? And I'm just gonna be like, all right, well, I don't know, let's do a 10K. I don't know. Where do you guys want, like, why not just keep going? But you're looking at me for answers, which keeps me on track. And so I want the same for you guys. If you're in the beginning where you're just trying to get your own results, be there, right? Like get your results, get your mind right, get your body right, get your health in check. If you're there, that's okay. Be there. And then there's going to be a point where you're getting your results, you're feeling pretty good, you're on track. And then there's going to be a point that you need more. Okay? There's always going to be a point you're going to need more. To me, accountability, support, and community is what you need. Right there. Right? Like right after you start getting your results and your results are there and you're like, okay, now what? Find a friend that you can help. Find a friend that you can say, hey, you know what, I've been doing these workouts for the last 3 months. I started because I just wanted to kind of get myself a little bit more energy, and then I got kind of good results, and maybe we could do it together. I can show you how to do it. And then you create accountability, support, and your own little community right there, even if it's just between the two of you. Okay, so really recognize what state you're in, and you can also shift. Okay, so just knowing that maybe you've already been through the beginning about yourself, and maybe you've been through the results, and maybe you have the community, but then maybe you get pregnant and you have a baby, right? And then now what? Kind of go back, right? Like you still have your community, but maybe you come back and you go, you know what, I just need to get my own results again. Okay, so don't think that just because you've arrived here and you have results or whatever, that you can't shift back and start focusing on you again, right? Like maybe there's a point or something happens that you're like, like I'm even just looking at like Tessa and Kristen, I'm like, man, they're gonna have to shift back, right? Like they had results, or they had a reason why they joined, they were getting results, and then they had surgery, right? Thankfully, they have support and community and accountability right here. So it's going to be so much easier for them to go right back to square one and start working on them again. And then they're going to get back in their group when they're feeling good, and they're going to get their results again and be reminded, oh yeah, this is how it goes. This is what it works. And then we can start working them right into, finding other people again. So you might shift, okay? Recognize where you're at. Take a mental note today and say, where am I? Like, have I started where I needed to be? Have I gotten my own results? Am I at a point that I'm ready to move on? Something bigger, something better for other people. Because you guys, I have learned so much about myself adding people into this group. Like helping other people through health has educated myself, okay? Because I've had to be like, in the beginning when I was like selling Shakeology or getting somebody on Shakeology, they'd be like, well, I have a peanut allergy. Can I drink Shakeology? And I'm like, Google. I was like, And so it helped me. I had to learn. You guys, the best way to learn is to teach, okay? So when you're trying to help somebody else learn about Shakeology, you have to go do your research, right? You're like, okay, is Shakeology safe? I believe it is, but let me double check my information. And you get the answer, and you're like, oh yes, now you can take this. Hey, just so you know, it's totally fine. And so you're gonna learn along the way because you're helping other people learn. Okay, I think that there's something like super important about that. Like when you're helping somebody else learn and you're rooting for them, keeps you on track naturally, I think. Unless you want to be a hypocrite and tell somebody else to be healthy, and then you're over there eating all the donuts. Like that's not going to work. That's going to feel inauthentic, and then you can go back to your self, ego, persona, perception, and there's a disconnect somewhere there, right? Like there's going to be a disconnect somewhere in there. If yourself isn't aligning with what you're telling other people to do, we have a disconnect, okay? So you have to follow through. I don't tell you guys to show up at Warrior Hour every day and me not, right? Like we are in this together. And I just try to be as in it with you guys. Like whenever like somebody's like, oh my God, I could never be a coach. I'm like, but you're a great challenger. Like if you're a great challenger, you can be a great coach, because all I am is like a really great challenger. When I get in a program, I stick with it and I share it. Like I'm just a really great challenger. It's a glorified challenger is being a coach, for real. If you can stick in a program, you can stick in a coach, because I don't have to be there to work out for them. All they need to know is that they're showing up too. Right? Like, hey, she's in it with me. I know she's in there busting her ass at home, so I need to be here busting my ass at home. Okay? So I really like that she talked about that. And then I liked that she was like, a desire to do something. You have to kind of just initially, there's going to be a point where you just desire to do something. Like for me, I remember, you guys, I remember this so vividly. I was sitting in our RV before I started Beachbody, and I had just like I don't know if I had like a bathing suit on or if I had just like a sports bra and like shorts on or something, but Derek came with one of his little trains and he put it on my stomach and he folded the skin around it. Right? And he goes, "It's gone." And I was like, oh my God. Like he just stuck it in here and then he goes, and he just like literally folded all of that skin right around him. And I was like mortified, right? Like mortified as a mom, just like, oh my God, I have this extra crap on my body I've never had before. And it was like mortifying to me. But had that not happened, I don't know if I would have had the desire to change. Okay? Sometimes it takes sucky moments like that to make us make radical change. Okay? And so sometimes you have to have that moment that sticks in your head for you to really just start making major changes, right? Like I'm sure that there's probably things that you guys could remember of what made you say, I'm just done with this. I am done being this way and I'm ready to make some changes. That desire has to come from somewhere. And I'm sure if we all analyzed and backtracked and really thought about something that happened specifically, that made us want to change, right? Like I know somebody went to Cedar Point, went to go get into one of the Cedar Point things. She was too big. She was too big to get into Cedar Point. The belt wouldn't latch. She said that they kept pushing it and pushing it, trying to get it to lock. And she goes, I had to get up and leave in front of everybody, not ride the ride with my kids, and had to leave and she goes, I didn't ride a single ride the rest of the day. She goes, I was so mortified by that, but she's on my team. She's working her ass off to lose that weight. Sometimes we might have to have that moment, right? Like Rachel's talking, like she's 8 months pregnant and her husband decides to run to get in the best shape of his life, right? Like she was probably mortified by the way she was treating her body and the way she looked and the way she felt as she's watching her husband run. Like, had that never happened to her, would she have gotten her crap together? Maybe not. Maybe eventually, but I'm sure that was a very, very defining moment for her to get her crap together. So there might be a very defining moment for you too, right? Like there might have been a very big moment that you were like, oh my gosh, like maybe you put a shirt on that always fit and you're like, oh my God, I can't even get it to zip or whatever. There might be a real defining moment that made you go, I'm ready to get into this. Okay. So that can be your motivation. And then guys, again, there's going to be a point where maybe you start getting some results. Maybe you're like, oh my God, I got my dress to zip up. Woohoo, I'm so excited. Or like come try to put a freaking train in these abs, Derek. I dare you, like you ain't pushing nothing around this train, like, so I got a little bit of results. But then you guys, I'm going to add on again, there's that point where even after results, then what? What's going to keep you long lasting? Okay. And to me, community, just enjoying the women you're being with, right? Like, I love working out, but it's not, I love working out because of the way it makes me feel. That doesn't mean I'm like yes, my biceps are burning. It feels so good. I'm like usually cussing, right? I'm like, oh my God, my biceps are freaking burning. Like, but I know that the results are worth it. And I know that motivating you guys is so much fun to me. Like, it's so much fun to be like, to hear about your guys' results. Like, almost your guys' results keep me going in a way. Because I know that if I can keep getting you guys results, like, you guys can keep being amazing women. And then if you're amazing women, then you can affect your families and the people around you. And I love that ripple effect. That alone fuels my soul. But had I just been working out for myself, by myself all the time, I wouldn't have that ability. So I think that there's really something super important about watching other people get results, right? Like, in your community, like, because now we're all rooting for each other. And so I know that, like, some of the girls that have watched Brooke lose all of her weight, right? Like, she's lost it all with us in Beachbody. And so some of us have sat and watched her lose all of her weight, and we're like rooting for her, you know? We're like, go, Brooke, go, you know? Like, it fuels me, because I'm like, she's in it. I can see her. She's getting results. She looks amazing. Like, I got to keep going. We got to keep motivating her. I don't want her to lose, you know, progress. I don't want her to lose motivation or momentum. And so it keeps me going. So maybe it is still the results. But at this point, I love the results of other people. Like, I love getting you guys results. It's so cool watching you guys flex in the mirror when you've never done that before. You know, it's so cool to watch. I think I was telling you this, it was last week or the week before. It's so cool to watch the selfies go to full body mirrors, you know, to the headshots, or maybe even, like I said, just like your feet. Like, it all starts out with like feet and weights, like, or a feet and yoga mat. Like, they'll take a picture of that, and then maybe it'll be a sweaty selfie, but it's literally from here to here. And then the camera gets back a little bit further, and then it's like a full body selfie in a mirror. That is so cool to me to watch happen, because I know what's happening. Confidence is being built. The results are happening. You can watch it happen, because I've also been there, right? Like, I remember, and I can even look back. If I go back to my very first workouts, they were sweaty selfies from right here, or they were pictures of my shape from over there. Right? And then all of a sudden, like a year into my coaching, I got a full body mirror. I started taking pictures in it. I started to actually look and like my body. It took time. Those results happened. But I remember that whole process. And so then when I can watch somebody else go through it, I'm like, she's in it. She's in it. She's doing it. I see her feeling herself. I see her getting a little more confident. I see that building. And watching other people get results is really cool. Like, even some of you guys might not have been with us then, but when Ashley Sanders, when she first started, she lost 80 pounds, you guys. She lost 80 pounds with us, doing 80-day obsession. And I remember the first time she went through that 80-day obsession, she was showing us, you know, like 2-week results. So she would have a picture and she'd be like, oh, I'm 2 weeks in, I'm 4 weeks in, I'm 6 weeks in, and she was sharing it the whole way. And we literally watched her body go, doof, doof, doof. Like, we just watched her just like shrink as a group. We were like literally all in it with her. We were all in it with her. And we were like, go girl, you're doing great. Yes. Like, it was so cool to be in it with her. And then to even watch her, then she got married and now she's pregnant, and now we're still in it with her. Like, I'm still in it with her going, oh, look at you, you're having this healthy pregnancy. And had you have gotten pregnant when you were 80 pounds heavier, imagine how different your life would be, right? Like, having a finger in that keeps me going. It keeps me going, because I know she's going to pop that baby out, and in 4 or 6 weeks, she's going to be like, all right, Jen, where should I start? And I'll be like, let's do this, right? Like, I'm in it with her. For life, not for a program. The program is where you start. But when you decide to commit for life, that's a whole nother level. Okay? That's a whole nother ball game. And that's where it gets fun. You guys, it is so much more fun celebrating you guys than it is celebrating myself. Seriously. Like sometimes I forget that when you guys succeeded, like Tennille, like getting diamond, I forget sometimes that actually rank advances me too. Like it doesn't even I'm like, I don't even care. I'm just so excited for Tennille. Like I was like, yeah, she's diamond. I'm so excited. Like, and I celebrate her and I kind of completely forget. Like, cause she even to me, she goes, yeah, but that advances you too. I'm like, oh yeah. Yeah, it does. But I like don't even care about that because I'm so excited for her. Right. And I think also too, like when we can just remove from our own heads sometimes our own egos, our own self image, and we just focus on other people sometimes and say like, man, like it motivates me to help her. It motivates me to help you guys. And so I think there's really something important in that I want maybe you guys to realize, because maybe you're getting to a point where your health is on track. You're feeling pretty good. You've gotten the results. Now what? Right? Now what? How are you going to stay in it? And not stay in it for another program. Like, how are you going to stay in it for life? How are you going to make it stick for life? To me, having my community look at me, saying, okay, Jen, what's next? I got to figure it out, right? Like, I got to rise to the occasion, which I always, like, I promised myself from the beginning, I'm going to rise to the occasion. That was like a promise I made to myself when I started coaching and I started signing people up. I was like, all right, Jen, if you're going to do this, don't be one of those people that sign people up and then goes to them 6 months later and quit. I like refuse to allow that to be me because I've watched so many people do that, right? Like they'll sign, or even not even in Beachbody, but like you buy makeup off somebody and then all of a sudden they're not selling it anymore. And you're like, okay, so who am I supposed to go to buy this freaking makeup off of? Because you just quit doing it, you know? Or I've had people that like have signed people up as Beachbody coaches and then they ghost them. And I've had people mess me and say, hey, I was signed up with my coach, but she won't even reply to my messages. I don't even think she's doing it anymore. And I've completely fallen off, right? I just promised myself I would never be that coach from the beginning. I was like, listen, if this is what you're going to do, Jen, and I kind of had to have like a little sit down with myself. I'm like, all right, Jen, like if this is what you want to do, I'm all in, but you better be all in for good. You're going to sign people up and you're going to tell them to trust you. Like if I'm going to say, hey, trust me, I got you. I can't ghost you 6 months from now. Right? Like I need to still be there for you. And so I had to kind of rise to the occasion of being there for people. But it's kept me on track. So the payoff is worth it. Okay? Because I knew I needed to keep myself on track, but I knew for me to keep on track, I needed other people looking at me. And for other people to be looking at me, I needed to continue going and keep their trust and build it, continue with them and grow with them. Okay? So recognize where you're at. Analyze, take a step back and be like, where am I? Not like, where am I? Like, you don't know where you're at. I don't know how to help you there, but like, you got to step back and say, okay, where am I at on the spectrum? Am I getting my own results? Awesome. I'm going to be in that. Am I getting results and I'm kind of like, now what? Then maybe it's time to take you to that next level. Even if you just take one person, maybe it's your mom, like me. Maybe it's your sister. Maybe it's your husband. Maybe you can pull that one person in with you. Now you create an accountability. Okay? And then as you create accountability, you realize how important accountability is. So I just try to grab as much people as I can. Like when I'm trying to like when MDF comes out, I'm like, man, I want to sign up like at least 10 to 15 new challengers. That's my goal. Not because I need money, because I know how important it is when I have 10 to 15 girls looking at me saying, all right, Jen, we're in this, how much more in it I am. because I'm like, all right, these girls are looking at me for results. They're looking at me for answers. They're looking at me for guidance. I better rise to the occasion. Right? And so it's almost selfish for me because I do it so I stay on track, but then I know that I'm getting other people results and helping them become better people too. It's a win-win for everybody. Okay? So you have to find where you're at. And I think that's all I had wrote down from her, but like fall in love with the process, you guys. Okay? Don't be like so frustrated. Oh, I'm trying to lose this weight. It's just not falling off. That's okay. You got a lifetime to do this. There is no destination. It's not, oh my God, when I lose this 5 pounds, then I'll become a coach. Or, oh my gosh, when I lose the 10 pounds, then I'll be happy. Because as we know, that's not going to work. You're not going to be happy after you lose the 10 pounds, right? Like you need to enjoy the process. You need to enjoy and celebrate all those little things along the way. And then find somebody else that you can celebrate. I think it's so much fun to celebrate other people. And especially when their results are your results, right? Like I become a better coach and more people join me, the more results I get for you guys. They're like, hey man, she's getting people results over there. What the heck has she got going on? And so I have people messaging me saying, hey, how are you getting these girls results? And I'm like, oh, come on, I'll show you. Join our community. Join our little group. Right? And I know what's going to happen once they're in there because I know what you guys provide. Okay? So take advantage of that community that's been created for you guys. Take advantage of it. Lean into them. Post in the challenge group. Say, hey, I'm having a struggling day. Hey, I'm having a hard time finding dinner. Hey, I'm having a hard time knowing what program to do next. Lean into that community. That's what they're all here for. That's why we created it, so we could say like, hey, if I'm having a hard day, I can lean in here and maybe I can get some people to kind of help me out. I don't know what you meant, Amanda. The track is gone. I was just popping over to the chat. I don't remember what that meant. Was I talking about something about a track?
When you put the train on your belly, the track on.
Is it with?
Your name?
Type it in. Type it in.
The track on your belly. We put the train on your belly. That's what that is from.
Maybe water.
Yes. Okay, I got you. I hate that my computer. I can't wait till my internet's better. Guys, I promise it'll happen. So I know that wasn't exactly what we were supposed to be looking for, and I know we were all really excited to like read Rachel Hollis, but you know, it happens, you guys. This is life, right? Like you go to do something and you're like, holy crap. Now what? It's not there. What are you gonna do? I could have said, all right, well, we're not gonna meet. We don't have Rachel Hollis on Mondays. What are we gonna do? No, pivot, switch, find a video, find something to talk about, find a way, right? Like, don't just give up just because something was hard or just because something didn't happen the way you had originally planned, right? Be ready to pivot at any moment, especially in 2020, am I right? Like, what is this year happening? Have you guys seen that, like, Jumanji, like, meme that's, like, going around? They're like, you have, oh, no, like, made it to the next level. And we're like, oh, my God, July is right around the corner. What's going to happen? Like, you know? Like, be ready. Stay on your toes. The moment you sit back on your heels and you think you're comfortable, that's when life is going to hit you, you guys. That is when life is going to take you off your feet. Okay? Be ready, be prepared, and just try and keep your mind right, and try and focus on what you got right in front of you. Keep your head down and stay in your lane. And if you need to, you lean into the community. Okay? because we're all here to support, to help keep accountable. And I think the more that we just get in that headspace of like, wow, I have this group of women. I really do. Because I know sometimes it can also be like, yeah, I know that group of women's over there, but I don't know, I just don't really feel comfortable. I don't really know anybody. Get that out of your head. Because that's exactly what it's there for. And those women are there to support you. Those women are there to help you. Okay? Even if you don't know anybody in there. I can guarantee you if you posted in there for help, you would get 10, 15 comments of somebody that said something, right? Like, you got it, girl. Here's some ideas. Here's some blah, blah, blah. Like, lean into the community. And the more that we trust our own community, like even just between like the 12 girls on this call right now, even if we said, you know what, this community is going to be a safe zone for women. It's going to be a place where women can be brought into and felt supported and heard. Okay? Even if we just said that between us, the 12 of us on here, and said, you know what? This is going to be a woman's safe zone. If we set that precedent, it will follow suit. And I know I have that mindset, but I need you guys too. That's the cool part. I can't do this alone. Like I cannot coach everybody alone. That's why I turn you guys into coaches. That's why I'm like, yeah, let's get you a coach. Let's help you, because I need you guys. Like, I need you guys to help support. And because I know when you're helping support somebody else, it fuels you, it inspires you, it motivates you, it keeps you on track. Okay? So, I know that was a little different than what I think we originally planned to talk about, but I still think it's very much important and kind of a cool little topic, and maybe you can just make us and remind us that our health can be so much bigger than just us. Okay? It can be so much bigger than just you. But you gotta trust. You gotta trust the community. You have to lean into the community, and the more you lean into the community, you realize like you have so much support. Okay? And encourage your girls to lean into the community too. Say, hey, I've got this great group of girls. I'm gonna pop you in here, and they're gonna support you. And I want you to know that you can trust this place, right? And the more that we just say that and do that, then the better it's gonna build as well, which in return helps all of us. It does. It's a win-win. Okay. All right, ladies, happy Monday. I'm going to go do a little bit of digging and research on what's going on with this Rachel Hollis challenge, just to kind of see, like, is it done? What happened? Just to, like, make sure, for sure, like, maybe they're just having, like, technical difficulties. I don't know, like, maybe she just couldn't post or something like that. And so maybe it's just not uploaded yet. So I'm going to do some digging and kind of figure out what's going on with that. If it's over, that's fine. What I thought we could do is maybe we could start reading her book. Maybe we start with chapter 1, and we just go on Mondays. We just start listening to chapter 1 of her book for 30 minutes. We talk about it, and every Monday we just come and listen to her book. So I have ideas, so don't worry. I have plenty of things that I think that we can start working into and doing. I just need to figure out, because I wasn't quite ready for her to be done with that. But if it's going to be done, it's fine. Whatever. We'll move on, right? What else are we going to do? So I will let you guys know tomorrow how that's going to go. Also, ladies, just real quick before I let you guys go, I am going to start weaning Warrior Hour off of the weekends for all of us, just to have some time for your family, some time for me and my family, and being able to just come back super fresh on Monday, and really kind of just having Monday as like a big day rather than like, we're kind of working out over the weekends and stuff like that. So what I will do is we will not be meeting this Sunday. We're still going to have Saturday yoga this week. And then next week, we'll probably not do Saturday and Sunday. I'm going to keep reminding you guys so that way if people are on different days, but I'm going to start today to tell you. So we will be doing Monday through Friday Warrior Hour. Okay? But we will be doing yoga this Saturday because I want And then what I thought about doing, maybe I could take a survey or kind of get some suggestions from you. I had talked to Elika about maybe moving yoga to Wednesdays, or something like that, because I don't really want to just not have it. I really enjoy the yoga. I really like doing it with her. So we thought about maybe moving it to like Wednesday, maybe like do Monday and Tuesday kind of personal development stuff. Wednesday would be yoga. Thursday would be our music free day, and Friday would be workout day. So I'm working on it right now, just to kind of give you guys like a little tidbit of what I'm working on and how I'm going to set it up and kind of change things a little bit, just so it's more sustainable. Okay. Because I don't want to get rid of Warrior Hour, but also 7 days a week is a lot, right? Like we all know that. And so I'm trying to make something a little bit more sustainable that we can continue for a long period of time. Cool. So if you have suggestions or ideas or thoughts or whatever on that, feel free to message me. I'm happy to kind of get different perspectives on it, because, you know, I'm leading, so I have one perspective, but maybe as a viewer, you guys have another perspective. So I'd love to hear from you guys. Okay. All right, ladies, I'm going to let you guys go. How did I talk that long on a day that we had nothing to talk about? We just had to wing it, but hopefully you guys still got something, even if it's one thing, right? Even if it's one thing today, it was worth it. Okay. So thank you, ladies, for coming. I appreciate all of you guys. I hope you have a fabulous Monday, and we'll come back tomorrow, and I'll have a video ready for tomorrow. Okay. All right. Bye. Have a good day.